Hi friends, it's Pastor Melody and Vicar Deb, and we are excited to kick off this week our 2021 year of prayer together. So our purpose for these videos is to educate you a little bit more about different prayer practices, and then two, to kind of model how to practice this with your prayer partner or with your prayer groups or Bible studies, however you would like to practice these prayer practices together. So first, we will focus together in February on the practice of silence. Now, for many people, including myself, this was a really difficult, hard practice to begin with, but it's been the most transformational prayer practice for me because it was completely different than the way I grew up praying. I'm sure, like many of you, it was modeled for you to close your eyes and bow your heads, and this was the only posture that was modeled for me of how to pray. And that is a good prayer practice, but that's really only one piece of the pie. There's all kinds of different ways in which we can be listening for God with one another. And so that's what we're going to be modeling for you, is the other pieces in the way our ancient church has listened for God together. So the gift of silence is basically to focus our attention on God. So you might find silence in the morning when you wake up. You might find silence in the evening before you go to bed. But the first question is, where does silence naturally happen? Where does God naturally provide silence for you? It might be in your car, when you're driving to work, picking up your kids. It might be between meetings. So instead of going directly to your phone to text somebody or to look on Facebook, now we're inviting you this month just to find those quick minutes, 5 minutes, and just pause and just draw your attention to God and where you're noticing God in your life. The second piece is we want to model for you how to incorporate practice this with your prayer partners. So typically, if you have a friend that you want to call or ask how they're doing, you pick up the phone and you call your friend Deb and you say, "Hey Deb, how you doing?"
"Hey Melody, I'm doing fine. How about you?"
"Oh, I'm fine too." So that's typically our first response is, "I'm fine." And you might be fine, but we are encouraging you to pick a different response, to actually pause when somebody asks you how you're really doing, and to really think about that. What has been your high? What's been your low? And to really authentically share that with one another, holding that space and time together as a prayer practice together. So it would look something like this. "Hey Deb, good to talk to you. So how are you really doing this week?"
That's a good question. I had a really good time with my parents and my kids this weekend. We got to see each other and have a great conversation. But I also have had a few lows where I just really struggle with getting my body moving and going to exercise. It's mental. It's not anything physical. How about for you?
Yeah, thanks for asking. My high is I am excited to be praying together, all of us, listening more together and growing together. So I'm excited about that kicking off this week. My low is often how I'm not listening to my kids, not listening to how God is speaking to me around me. And so being more intentional about listening is, I think, going to be helpful. So I hope you can be praying for me about that.
Absolutely.
So we hope that you have fun with this, with your prayer partners, and we thank you for listening with us and listening to God together.